So I was deep in prayer and fasting this morning at 4 before
I don't believe you.
And by prayer and fasting, I mean I was sleeping and dreaming.
I believe you.
I thought you were out watching the geese go by, or the ducks, whatever that was.
Those were geese. Yes, that was at dinner time yesterday.
Oh,
So, or after dinner. Yeah, no, that was at my parents' place. They live right on a lake. So
nice.
We have been building a lot of marble tracks though, so that's been fun.
Marble tracks. Oh yeah, inside. I saw that. Yeah,
Yes.
that's cool.
Well, that's weird. It makes me disappear if I use my cup. I think I'll turn this off. How's Roger doing?
It's cool.
Behaving?
Yeah, he's been working at home since March, middle of March, when we got back from visiting our friends Nancy and Hank. And but the office is opening now, so he's going in. They're opening in shifts, so he can go in 2 to 3 days a week. They have certain days are allowed to go in, but not all of his department's going to be there at the same time. Like his secretary's not going to be there the same day he is. So
Hey guys, we are live.
All right.
We'll be shortly. So there's always a little bit of a lag, but so welcome to Pizza with the Pastors. We're going to start shortly. And if you want to come in to this room, the Zoom room, we invite you to use the link that is being posted. And I need to pop off for a second. So you guys carry on. Carry on.
Carry on.
well, I hope there's going to be some new people from South Euclid that I can say hi to. I invited several. So that's what I'm hoping for tonight.
Oh, that's great.
I kind of feel like I lead a double life. I actually live in Cleveland Heights, so South Euclid is way closer to me. So I'm going to probably start splitting time more at South Euclid.
Ah, okay.
Just hang out,
That'd be very nice.
Yeah. So it's kind of fun running back and forth, but my half of my family likes South Euclid more than Pepper Pike. So
Half your family?
Probably because Chip's not there preaching every week would be my thought.
Hey, thanks a lot, bro.
Yeah.
He's there.
I can still hear you. I'm putting this stuff up on our Facebook page, but don't think I'm not going to listen to what you're saying.
Okay. I mean, it's not a reflection on you, Chip. It's just that Scott's such a dynamic communicator.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, I know, Pastor Stephen, that the people who come to your Bible study like to come hear you when you preach there. So that'll be another good way for them to see you and connect.
Sure. Yeah. We had some things we're kicking around, and I was kind of shuffling my feet on, and then the COVID thing hit. So, but if a Bible study comes out of it, it's going to be at South Euclid. I enjoy South Euclid. So but I'm here just to serve however I can. Woo! Woo woo!
All right. So we're just waiting a couple minutes and then we'll start because this will be available on demand also. And just to say a little bit, what is Pizza with the Pastors anyway? You don't say any pizza here, and I don't have any pizza, which makes me sad, but I hope folks do. And I think that it's really a chance to get together and connect with folks, especially newer folks, and a chance for us to share our hearts, share about the DNA of Garfield, and also ask questions. And we've had Pizza and the Pastors for the first Sunday of the month, typically, and now we're going to do it the first Monday of the month as a way of connecting with newcomers. So I think we'll get started in just a minute, but then Pastor Scott Blevins, our South Euclid campus pastor, will be joining us shortly. But right now we have Pastor Stephen, our first senior.
Thank you.
Woo.
I am
our
present.
teaching pastors.
I am here.
We have me, I'm the executive pastor. We have Reverend Kurt Bissell, who is our online pastor. We have Sherry Shoemaker, who is a radical hospitality leader and has been and does an amazing job. And then Reverend Chip Freed, our lead teaching pastor at vacation home.
Hanging out at my lake house, my dream house.
Must be nice.
I wish I had one, so at least I could use a virtual background and pretend I got one. What I wouldn't be on a lake in Canada right about now.
Nice.
Mm,
Love it.
and that's what's happening now. Wow. The virtual backgrounds are amazing.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
took this is Chip. I don't know if you recognize this is the slide from
Yeah,
of
love
our
it.
series in January.
It was in
So
2020, yeah.
I've been praying
Once
over
my
the
wife
city.
found out there were virtual backgrounds, she said, I don't have to worry about making sure everything's clean. Use the virtual background.
It
I'm only on this-
actually,
I'm only in this room like 7 hours a day on these things.
yeah. Well, it's nice though, because like if my kids or my wife walk into the room, they don't show up on the screen.
Right.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
Well, anyhow, greetings to any and all that are watching this, as Terry said. So how do you want to get started, Terry? Do you want me to just kind of maybe run through our core values?
Yeah, I think that would be a great place to start.
All right. Well, the Zoom link is posted. If you'd like to jump in with us, it's on our Facebook page as we're going Facebook Live. I should put it in the. Can you post it in the one of you guys, Kurt or Terry, post a link to the Zoom in the chat for the Facebook Live?
I don't have the chat Zoom link. So Terry, can you do that?
The chat link for Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Okie doke.
Can you put in the comments? If you can, you can, but then you'll have to talk. Yes, no?
Huh?
Can you put in the chat comments was the question.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're
So,
welcome.
Garfield Memorial, if you're tuning in with us, our mission is to make disciples of Jesus Christ for the transformation of the world. How do we do that? We widen the circle. That's our mantra, our vision statement, which really means we sit on a historic traffic circle, our Pepper Pike campus, prior to our expanding into our South Euclid neighborhood campus as well. And with the historic traffic circle, it's kind of like in my vision, you drop a stone in the water and the ripples go out. So we just want to continue to have the ripples of Christ's love going across Cleveland. And we hope we've touched you in some way, shape, or form, that you've come in with us. And our core values, we have 5: safety, growth, authenticity, diversity, forgiveness. I'll just run through those real quick, just give you the thumbnail. Safety, we feel like when you went around Jesus, you were in one of the safest places you could ever be. It didn't mean who you were. If you read your scriptures, how wealthy you were, how poor you were, how insider, outsider, foreigner, male, female, everyone when they came to Christ was safe. So we want the church to be a safe place. We don't want you to come in and get your feelings hurt. We can get there. I can get my feelings hurt in the world. So we really try to be a safe place where we recognize people are searching at all different levels on their faith journey. And we hope that you'll find unconditional love. So safety is our first one. Growth, we feel the church ought to be a place where we're growing numerically because we are reaching new people. It's not, people say it's about numbers. Absolutely it's about numbers because numbers are people. And we want to meet people. And also that we're growing spiritually. We're growing in a depth that we're not just, 10 miles wide and an inch deep, that all of us should be growing to be more like Christ each and every day. So we spend a lot of time with discipleship training, et cetera, with our on-ramps. Authenticity, we take the gospel of Jesus Christ very serious. We don't take ourselves all that serious. We're real people, with real lives, trying to connect with the real God. We don't put on pretenses. When I go around Cleveland and I meet non-church people especially and connect with them, one of the first things they'll say is, boy, you don't seem like a pastor. And I'll say, thank you very much. Because whatever you think a pastor, I guess, is in the stereotype, I don't want to be that. So authenticity is important for us. Diversity, we are, a national teaching church with the Mosaics Global Network. as we're seeking to help the church better reflect the kingdom of God, number one, and better reflect the community around them, number two. We believe that Revelation 7:9 says that every tongue, tribe, and nation will be in the ultimate church, the ultimate New Jerusalem, the new city. So we want to reflect that now. So Garfield Memorial is really a place of every tongue, tribe, and nation. We have 1,200 active members. We don't have any one ethnic group that makes up more than 52% of that number. We think that's wonderful. We've got Fortune 500 CEOs sitting next to families who are right at the poverty line. So everyone is welcome, all are accepted, and we celebrate that diversity and try to reflect the kingdom of God. And we don't just assume it, we will ourselves to it. We put aside some of our preferences and our past experiences so we can make room for others. So our last one's forgiveness, because trying to be the church I just described in 4 steps is impossible. And you're going to step on somebody's toes. Somebody's going to be unhappy. Somebody's going to feel left out. And that's why the core value of forgiveness has to be the glue that keeps us together. And, Peter asked Jesus, how many times do I have to forgive someone in the church? He talked about in the church. And he said 7 times. And I love what Peter was doing, because Peter was a brash mouth like me. And I think he was being sarcastic to Jesus, like, oh, wait a minute, I got to forgive people every day. And Jesus said, way, 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 way more than every day. 70 times 7 was a symbol that was almost for infinity in that kind of language. So that's who we are. That's our DNA. We measure ourselves by those core values. If something is interrupting one of those core values, and we talk about that as pastors and staff, there's been times we'll have a meeting and somebody will say, well, how does that fit with our core value of diversity? Or how does that fit with our core value of safety? And so we try to hold ourselves accountable to it. So that's my flyby.
And the core values are on our website, which is really our central hub of anything Garfield. Go to garfieldchurch.org. And of course, going on social here on Facebook is always a great place to go. But that's a good segue to and welcome Pastor Scott Blevins, our South Euclid campus pastor. Apparently he's being mobile or in his car. So that's great. And we're glad anybody who is here. But Kurt, maybe talk a little bit about what it means to be an online pastor and some of the ways that helps to move the mission.
Sure, yeah. So even before about a year and a half ago now, I came on staff. Pastor Chip and Pastor Terry, approached me about really expanding our our virtual online presence. And we're, there's, what is it, Terry, 138 hours in a week? Is that right?
168.
168. So there's 168 hours a week, and we maybe spend 1 or 2 hours a week in church. A lot of people, can we engage you at a deeper level outside of church? And we know everybody's connected through phones and through computers to the internet. And so we made a concerted effort to really engage people deeper in that regard, engage them on a regular basis, and then help them to connect to one another as they they're growing in their faith and or struggling through life at times. So the internet can oftentimes be a dark place, and we want to bring light to it as much as possible. So that's my role. We've got a website that's very, it tries to be up to date, very interactive. It's our central hub. So if you need to find information, that's a great place to start. And then we've got a private Facebook group that we try to use to interact and encourage fellowship there. And then we've got our online church platform. So we're streaming services, on a multitude of platforms at this point. Pastor Scott has really helped us with our YouTube channel, which has been great. Thank you, Scott, for that. I can now be on 3 platforms at once. I stream YouTube on my TV and chat on my computer. So it's a little bit of what we're doing. We feel that we were really fortunate to be positioned like we are for this time. And so in a lot of ways, we're just expanding what we've been doing. We don't have to recreate the wheel. And so that's been a real blessing. But online ministry is as much about connection as in-person ministry is, and that's really our goal, is to connect people. So is that enough, Terry?
You're muted, Terry.
Sorry, my dog was barking, one of the pitfalls of working at home. Part of what the genesis of Pizza with the Pastors has been was in order to provide a forum where people can ask questions and learn more about the church, as well as for us to kind of present some information. So if anybody's out there and has questions, and it can be, about our backgrounds and how we ended up here, or questions about how to get connected in the church and ideas. We have some of our major significant remodeling at our Pepper Pike campus came as a result of having conversations like these around a table. This is a virtual table, but the reason that we now have an expanded main lobby is because people would come and they say there's nowhere to hang out. We redid some of our entrances because people would come and say, it's confusing. We don't know where to go in. And so that's really been responsible for a lot. So the input that folks have. So any questions, that's great. But Pastor Steve, why don't you share a little bit about how you ended up at Garfield, and anything you want to share about what it means to be in ministry here with all of us? Or maybe even something that you wish you had been told when you first started to dive.
I better go to first question. That's a little safer. I tell you, my story is pretty interesting. I was on my way to work, and I felt an urge and an unction to turn down a street that I had passed probably 100 times. And I found myself in the back parking lot of the South Euclid campus. And I had no clue why I felt to turn that way. And the Lord spoke to my heart and says, well, call these folks and tell them you're looking for space. I have a Bible study that I was running. And I told the Lord, well, Lord, I don't have any money, so I don't know why I would call these folks. But I obeyed the Lord, and I gave a call and met Scott. My brother's name was Scott, so I figured I would never forget the dude's name. And so we just shared a little bit. And after I shared my heart, he actually shared with me the values. He shared with me the core values of Garfield, and I found those to be in line with what I was thinking. And so Beverly and I were kind of in the middle of some things with our ministry, and kind of in a sabbatical, but looking to come out. And so Scott said, you got to meet Chip. I'm like, well, what's a Chip? And
When you find out, let me know.
So long story short, it was really a pretty powerful moment for me and Bev and I, where it's rare to meet people and everything just clicks. That's just really rare. So Chip, being the guy he is, he starts sharing his heart, and we're sitting here eating that, was it Taco Bambo or wherever we were?
We're at the Chinese place.
And it was a Chinese place. That's right, Chinese place. And so I told Beverly, I said, Beverly, look, if he asked me to be on staff, I'm going to say yeah. She said, don't you want to pray about it first? I said, no, I'm not going to pray about it. I'm going for it. Because I needed something fresh in my life, and I knew that. And so, that's how we met. And every encounter has been a great encounter, a growing, learning, expanding kind of thing. And I absolutely love my Garfield family, and I love serving. I love doing what I do. I kind of feel like I know I'm a part in everything, but I kind of feel like I like to plug those holes. I like to look at my pastoral partners, and when I see fatigue on their face or in their spirit, and they say, will you do this for me? I get all pumped up, like, yeah, because that's what I'm here to do, and whatever else you want me to do. So that's my Garfield story. I'm part of the family. Can't get rid of me. It's one of those things, if you tell a little dog on the porch, you're a stray, go away. Like, you fed me, can't lose me now. So shouldn't have fed me.
Right.
But that's my Garfield story, and I tell everybody about Garfield. I tell the people I'm still connected to my church. my denominational background. I tell everybody about Garfield. Everybody I meet, I tell them about Garfield and say, man, you got to see this. It's real. It's not just words on a page. We're really walking this thing out. And so that's my story.
Well, you've been such a blessing to us, Steve. And I do remember that when we met, Terry and I said the same thing. It's like, gosh, I feel like we've known him in Beverly forever.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, something interesting about that, because I found that in at least my journey with the Mosaics movement, it's really become like Mi Familia, pastors and leaders across the country that are really, really committed to trying to see Christ Church perfected in the sense of that all are welcome, you know, for some,
Yes.
for all. That was the theme of our last conference.
Mm.
Making sure the church is willing itself to that end. Everybody wants it,
Sure.
but how many will themselves to it?
Right.
Because nobody's gonna, you know, it just, I don't want to get on my soapbox about that, but going around with Mosaics people, it's really interesting. It's like, you know, I feel like Onia Quoby, she and I have been together, you know, she's preached at Garfield now 3 times. Last time she was up here was for our Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And I've known Onia for 4 years. I've been with her 10 times. And we feel like we're brothers and sisters like at birth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because I got interviewed, what was that, Terry, last Thursday by a guy out of Minnesota doing a PhD, happens to be an African-American brother, on why is the church so culturally exclusive? You know, doing a PhD, why is the church not culturally inclusive?
Mm-hmm.
And gave him my name. And we were talking to in this interview via Zoom, and he just like 30 minutes in, he's like, dude, I feel like I've known you my whole life. And there's something about that kindredness, I think, when folks have that kingdom hunger, that just, I can feel it in folks. I can just feel it when I meet them. And I kind of felt it in you. And I think when people come into Garfield, I've heard that a lot. And Sherry, probably so much you, but Terry hears it all the time, that our radical hospitality, it's not fake. We don't do it just because you're supposed to do it. People say, I walk in here and I really feel it. Like you feel general acceptance and love.
Right.
And whatever that is, I tend to call it the Holy Spirit. But I think it creates those quick connections, which are really special.
And I would add to that it creates a lasting connection too. It's not, we're all on a journey, and as preachers and servants, we know that at any moment God could send you anywhere. That's just part of what we do. But you get a sense, and at least Beverly and I have a sense that, man, hey, Garfield's always going to be our family, no matter what. It's just one of those. It's a lasting connection that only the Holy Spirit. It is the unity of the Spirit is what it is. It's the unity of the Spirit, and we have to endeavor to keep it and to guard against things that would cause division, and so we have a lot of warm feelings about everybody we've met, and even people who get on my nerves. I love them too. That means I'm part of a real family.
Then you're in a real family. That's right. And you have to will yourself. Right? Not want yourself, will yourself.
And they probably look at me the same way and go, oh boy, here he comes.
Let me just do some shout outs. Kurt, Charlene's on with us. Barb, we've been talking online. It's so good to see you. Deborah Heimer is there. Hey, Deb. William Reed. Mari, good to see you. Hey, Mari, I put a sign in your yard today, and you didn't catch me, so you don't get your $10. I got caught by one person today out of 24. Wow. Rodney DeSapita caught me. I said, well, I owe you a $10 Starbucks card. So Kim Bauer, good to see you. Morgan Schnell, all right, bro, good to see you. And Stanley Miller, good to see you. So we're in Pizza with the Pastors. This is where we just chop it up about, usually we meet in person when we're worshiping live, first Sunday of every month, for new people newer to Garfield to come in to learn about our DNA. So we thought we'd do that online. We've got a lot of new people connecting with us online, and I don't know, I guess this is just kind of being back in the coach's room and listening in the locker room or something before the game. So that's the best image I got, not sure. Terry, turn it over to Scott, because all he's doing is smiling and I haven't heard him anything.
Scott, Pastor Scott, if people don't know him, he's the South Euclid campus pastor, and very active in the South Euclid community with Kids Club and other things, and working on some very creative ways to connect with folks this summer. So Scott, share a little bit from your perspective. Why'd you sign on with this motley crew anyway? You're mute. You're mute.
No, he's unmuted, but I can't hear him.
Okay, we can't hear you, Scott.
This is Amy's dream right now, but we can't hear you.
Still
Okay,
can't hear you.
you keep talking, we'll come back to you.
If anybody can lip read, we can just translate for
I
it.
can't. All right. Well, Sandy Greenberg just jumped in with us. Good to see you.
I have a few comments. I can
Okay,
jump in.
Charlene, let me jump in just real quick. Sherry, I want you to, but this is about radical hospitality. So why don't we pick this up and then go back to it. But Charlene Thomas, a question about radical hospitality. As a team, have you talked about how you're going to maintain that when we get back in this new reality? Wow. That's a major question. Let me have Sherry talk about radical hospitality. I'll just say this to you, Charlene. I don't know what the new reality is yet. I think we're all trying to figure that out. Our online, I think everything we're doing online is here to stay. None of that's going to go away. We've already heard that. Barb's in this chat room, and she's talked about this. I'm just picking on her because I see her in the thread, how she's made connections through this that never made when we were live. And I've heard that from people. So I don't think anything that we're doing, worship on Wednesdays, faith on Fridays, is going away. I don't care if we're back in live worship full steam. But the truth is, we're going to have to, I'm doing a lot of talk with national leaders. I'm listening to medical professionals and others. There's probably a phase in for how we come back live. And I don't even know what that looks like, whether it's 10 services over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday that you got pre-registered for that can only have up to 50 people or 100 people, whatever it is, with spacing. I'm just not sure, but we're considering everything. And we're not in any rush to get back to live worship just because there's no need to right now until we feel we have a safe plan in place. So we're going to do some surveying, by the way. I should mention that we're going to be sending out a survey that'll help us hear from every one of our folks that are out there, and we'll post it on our website to just get feedback, kind of where you're at, what you're thinking if we open back up live worship, let's say in the summer or whenever, in the fall. How would you feel safe? We're just going to get some of that information. But as I said Sunday, we're not going to reopen the church because we don't have to do that because we never closed the church. We just closed the building. But we will reopen. So as far as radical hospitality, Sherry speak to that, but I would just say to you, Charlene, I don't want to live in a world where I can't hug anybody anymore. Now, maybe I won't be able to do that for 2 or 3 years, but I got to believe they're coming back sometime. So go ahead, Sherry.
Oh, well, on that front, in our new reality, I was thinking, I was picturing at South Euclid that we could have a one-way entrance in to the worship center and a one-way out, and try to keep the crisscrossing too much. And of course, only elbow bumps, probably masks. I know I'm not ready to go back outside anywhere yet. So depends on when we open up. But talking about our core values, we really stress a lot to our teams, our radical hospitality teams, about authenticity and safety. That we want to be real with people so they can be real with us. And we want people to feel safe. We do what we can and say as much as we can about that.
Good.
And I think, we're always looking for ways when we're online together of how to practice hospitality, and we're learning, right? And part of what Kurt does when he's with people on worship on Sunday morning when we're live at 10, 11:30 is to try to engage people and help them to feel welcome. So he'll ask questions like, where are you from? What state are you watching in? Or, to share a little something. So it's as important as it ever was. We just need to live it out differently. And, as we're saying also we need to, rethink what that means, but we want to create that sense of welcome on whatever platforms God is leading us to. And I've been struck, someone was at the facility after we were not having live services in there. I can't actually remember why they were here, but they just said, even when the building didn't have people in it, they could still feel the atmosphere. And so I think that's something we need to continue to pray and to try to exude that hospitality of Christ, because it's not a mechanistic thing. It's kind of a mysterious thing that we can help create an atmosphere for it. But ultimately, as Chip alluded to, it's really the Holy Spirit. So that's, really good question, and definitely thinking about all the different options. So Scott, if you are audible.
Oh,
There. No.
no. We still have lip reading, Scott. I'm sorry.
So the reason I came to Garfield was
Way to pick us up, Kurt.
Scott says nobody else would take him, and that's why he ended up here, Chip.
No. Well, that's not true at all. In fact, I came after you. But you came visiting. You were worshiping with us before you moved to the West Side.
No, I was speaking for
He's
Scott.
speaking.
I was translating for Scott.
Oh, for Scott. I thought you were talking about you personally.
Oh, yeah. No, that's true. Nobody did want me, but
I was just,
you wanted me.
I did want you.
You're the only one.
Well, hey, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
My wife was the only one that would marry me, and look how that worked out. Anyhow, but I do think, speaking on Kurt, that we're the only church in our conference, our denomination on this side, actually both conferences, Ohio, that have an online campus pastor, and I'm not sure how many churches in Cleveland do or don't. But man, were we really uniquely positioned for this crisis with Kurt's ministry being with us 2 years prior, that a lot of people in our church have seen that as highly providential. And I know, Kurt, you've been working overtime, continuing to expand what we're doing, and just really appreciate you, bro.
Well, that's sweet. Thank you.
Aw,
Feel better now?
I'm all choked up.
I was just trying to translate for Scott, and you thought I was feeling neglected. So no. I mean, Chip, to your point, one of the things I love about Garfield is the ability to do ministry where we're at, and my family did worship at Garfield for a year after I transitioned out of full-time ministry. And this is obviously a part-time thing for me now. So I love the way that I've been empowered to do ministry. And I think that's part of what Garfield's DNA is that widening the circle is really about empowering everybody to do ministry from wherever they're at. I don't get to do this more than maybe 5 to 10 hours a week because I have a full-time job and whatnot. But I think that's the beauty of online, is it can be anywhere. I minister to people all over the country, and all of us do at this point. It's good stuff. So I appreciate being part of this group too, for sure.
It's interesting. Where I caught the vision for Kurt's position, I went to a conference down in Charlotte. They asked me to come to do just a side little thing on actually it was about ministry by strengths. But the focus of the conference, the main speakers were pushing the church into the digital world. That the digital world was already there. People were in digital space, and the church was not. And so I went down there, Charlotte. That was in, Terry, what was it, 18, I think? Or no, it was 17. 17 or 18, I'm forgetting. But Nona Jones was there from Facebook. Nona Steve, African-American female pastor from Gainesville, Florida, where Mark Zuckerberg actually hired her to handle all of the faith groups for Facebook, because what Zuckerberg realized was most of his Facebook groups, the majority percentage-wise, were some kind of spiritual, faith-based, and him not being a person of faith himself didn't know what to do with that. So Nona took that up, and she was amazing, and Erwin McManus, Steve Furtick, others. But I met so when the last speakers came in digitally, right? We're there in Charlotte, and people are coming in, you know, they're just interviewing via Skype and jumping in. And I met a woman who lives in Boston, but is the executive pastor, Terry's position, for a church in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And I was like, how does that work? You know, and like, well, you know, they meet all their meetings like this. She manages all the staff that way, et cetera. And she flies out there once a month. And yet she's the executive pastor of this very large church. I thought, wow, that's pretty cool. So big deal that Kurt lives in Strongsville. If she can do that from Boston to South Dakota, Kurt can do it from the west side to the east side. So I think the digital space does open up. And I think that is going to be a blessing on the other side of this, that churches that weren't there in digital space are going to be more present there. And churches like us that were there are going to try to widen the circle in that space. Scott, can you talk now? I know you jumped off and back on.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm
Eureka.
I'm here. I'm here. Let the pigeons loose. So, yeah. Hey, I'm glad all of the adjustments and changes that we're needing to make. You know, and it's weird. I keep saying because I am the campus pastor of our South Euclid campus, and we're not using that building much at all right now, although Pastor Stephen there has basically made the entire building his office, I think, at this point. But we're getting some good use out of it that way. But the reality is we are still serving actively in ministry in the South Euclid community, and even without the campus physically being used, we're still needing to engage and connect in the community and the Greater Heights area in a big way. Folks probably know that our biggest ministry out of South Euclid is Kids Club. And I just today got an email from one of the South Euclid city officials saying that they were very likely going to be canceling summer youth programming activities for at least most of the summer, including parks being closed, swimming pools being closed, that sort of thing. And so we're really, as we're adjusting to this, you know, situation right now for the South Euclid ministry, are in the process of creating what we're calling virtual summer camp. And we've got a lot of volunteers, a lot of skilled folks that we're contracting with to provide content. That we're going to have Bible studies and Bible lessons and Bible stories online for kids. We're going to have exercise videos. We're going to have arts and craft videos, how to do this particular arts and craft project at your home with materials that you have there. Just some fun instructional things like that. JC Ventura, who's the balloon bender that we have at all of our outreach events, is going to do a whole series of how to do balloon bending videos. And we've ordered starter packs for balloon bending with 100 balloons, and as well as an air pump, so that kids can participate in that and learn balloon bending. He's going to do them in increasing levels of difficulty so kids can progress and do more and more complex things. Tim Jackson, who is a personal trainer, is going to do some exercise videos. Genevieve Reed, who is a chef, is going to do not only some Bible study videos, because she also does Bible studies, but she's going to do some cooking videos as well in the kitchen there at South Euclid, to how to prepare simple things at home and how to be safe in the kitchen, those kinds of things. So we've got all of these videos coming out, that, and we're working on an online readers theater using Zoom, so that we can do an actual dramatic production virtually. Doing it online. Staging will be much simpler that way. Blocking will be very, very easy. It'll just be whichever block you're in on the screen. But we're looking right now at some different plays that we can do. And Craig McGahee, our choir director, who's also very good at drama and arts in that way, is going to be directing and leading that effort. And depending on when we do get back together face to face, we can also do it as a live face to face performance as well. So we got a lot of different things we're doing to try to, again, meet that need. When we first went into South Euclid, everyone we talked to said the number one gap in services in the community are activities for young people. And with the elimination of summer youth sports, swimming pools, traditional hangout spots, that gap just got exponentially larger. And so we want to step into that and provide some meaningful engagement activities for kids that they can do in small chunks. So the videos will be like 15 to 30 minutes, and they can log in, go to YouTube where our video library will be, and be part of virtual summer camp on a time frame that works for them and works for their families. Get some real quality content and delivered to them by professionals in their field. And it should be a lot of fun. I'm really, really looking forward to this. We also got a green screen set up over at South Euclid now, so that when we film these things, our presenters will be in a variety of fun environments as they share with the kids. So really, I mean, I don't want to diminish the impact that COVID-19 is having, but I'm really looking forward to this virtual summer camp. And I think it's a good idea. Even if we weren't in the midst of a pandemic, we would never have even thought of it if we hadn't been forced into this situation by these current circumstances. So it's pushing us into ministry in new places. And it's weird, I'm talking about it as a South Euclid ministry, but the reality is kids from all over the world will be able to participate in Garfield Memorial Church's virtual summer camp. So that's the big top plate thing we're working on right now out of the South Euclid ministry and campus there. So
That's great. That's great, Scott. I'm so excited about that. And we'll really get that into kind of a way to present that at large, as this thing.
Yeah.
Because the church is going to be so excited and the community will be so excited to hear about that. Just want to
well,
shout.
and I
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying, I think I would love a good way to brand it as well, so that all those videos have a very similar look and feel, or something about them that runs through it thematically, visually, so that if you're at virtual summer camp, it looks like you're at virtual summer camp. So
I got an idea. We can talk offline.
all right, sounds good.
Karen, want to greet you. Catherine, Jerome, Michael shouting us out. Thanks, Mike. Cindy and Steve, you better behave. Sister Beverly is in the house, so you got to watch what you say. Okay, I care much for my dear sister. But if you're jumping in with us, this is Pizza with the Pastors. That none of us have pizza, ironically. We told everybody BYOP, but we didn't bring it. But we usually gather live for Sunday of the month. So we want to keep doing what we've been doing. We hadn't had Pizza with the Pastors in a while, and just first Monday of the month at 5, we thought we'd just get our pastors together. We'll chop it up. If you end up worshiping with us online, you want to jump in the Zoom. If you just want to watch us on Facebook Live in the feed and comment with us, that's great too. I'm Chip Freed. I'm the lead teaching pastor at Garfield Memorial Church. Pastor Steve Furr is one of our teaching pastors here at Garfield Memorial Church. Pastor Scott, who was just talking, is also a teaching pastor and campus pastor at South Euclid. Pastor Kurt is our online pastor with the Cleveland screen background. And Pastor Terry, the only non-male in the room, so hanging out with these heathen, is our executive pastor. So that's what we're doing. We're just chopping it up. We'll spend maybe another 10 or 12 minutes with you. I don't know if you guys have any other comments. I want to mention something. I was out delivering yard signs today. We need help, so if you're willing to deliver some signs, please let me know. Day and time, I'll tell you where to go. We've got hundreds and hundreds of signs to deliver, but I just started today and did about 24. We've been asking people to do 10. It takes about an hour to do 10, but I put in a couple, my wife and I were speed racing around and did 24, and I got caught once. I thought I wouldn't get caught today, but I did get caught. But the person that caught me, we had a good conversation, 6 feet away from the car door, etc. But he was really raving about the series right now that we're doing with spiritual PPE. And I shared with him, that we, the old church used to call that spiritual warfare. We try to not just live in the warfare image, but we had, and Scott and Terry can attest, back in June, when we lay out kind of our goals, that was a post-Easter potential teaching series that we had on the board. And we looked at it and we said, my gosh, talk about timing, God's timing. And then the whole aspect of PPE and Paul saying, put on the whole armor, spiritual PPE. But it was just good hearing from that family. They're watching together. I hope everybody out there is watching on Sundays and worshiping. We'd love to, I don't know, Kurt, you can stir them up. I'd love to see some pictures of folks out there worshiping Post them on your social media, hashtag thankful with the number 4 Garfield, thankful for Garfield. That's kind of the hashtag we tend to use when we see everything we're posting. But I'd love to see pictures. But it was just good to hear, and I've heard that from others, but just I haven't had to have too many in live conversations with a lot of our members out there, and just sharing how important this series is. So I'm sensing that for such a time as this, and I don't know if you guys want to comment on that at all.
Just as you were saying that, I was remembering we've actually had that series on the docket for a couple of different times, and it was never the right time to do it. So I think that's just a test to for such a time as this and God's timing on that. So any other questions out there? This is your chance to just kind of ask us anything about Garfield and any of the ministries where want you to stay engaged. Like Pastor Kurt was talking about earlier, there's 168 hours in a week. And typically, if someone goes to church regularly, and we know the stats are, an average regular church goer comes about 1.2 times a month. So what happens in the other 167? How do we engage? And that's part of why having something like virtual pizza with the pastors or our Monday musings and worship Wednesdays and faith on Fridays are good. And we've got a couple of small group interactive things that'll be coming up as well. Sherry Shoemaker had a pop off our radical hospitality, one of our radical hospitality leaders, but she said a question came up about Connect. Connect is the means of joining the church. It's a 6-week short-term small group. And I'll touch on our other, what we call on-ramps, which are ways to kind of get started here at Garfield. But we were in the midst, about halfway through Connect when COVID hit. And so we just decided to suspend. So we'll probably pick it up in Zoom, and we could invite new people in that. But, we don't make a big push for membership. It's not because we don't value it. It's because we do value it. We say that if you can, attend Garfield, obviously in multiple platforms, as long as you want. But if you become committed to the church, a member, then you're no longer a customer, you're part of the workforce. Sorry, guys. Anybody who's in Zoom meetings with me knows that my dog, Leah, has a voice. So Connect is one of our on-ramps. Somebody want to talk for a minute?
So are we going to have a bring your pet to church type thing?
Yeah. Well, Leah's got to be in the amen corner over there, I think.
On cue. I was just thinking about her. I said, we haven't heard from Leah at all. And here she comes.
So we have, I mentioned on-ramps, which are some typical ways that people get connected here at Garfield. And, some churches have a sequence of things. You do this and you do this, 101, 201, 301. Because Garfield has so much diversity in so many ways, that has never worked here. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of place. So we thought, what are some initial ways that people can get started? If they say, I'm new here, I'm not sure what to do next. So these are some options. And so I mentioned Connect, which can lead to membership. We also have a Bible 101, which is, how do I read the Bible? How many times do people say, I really want to read the Bible, but I got to about halfway through Genesis, and we were talking with somebody the other day on one of these chats, and they made it to Numbers. But, how do you approach the Bible? And so that we've done that as a 6 to 8 week small group, but a way, again, to take a next step. And then Ministry by Strengths is based on the Clifton Strengths Finders, and we've done that as a 6 to 8 week small group. And you discover your top 5 strengths and what's really amazing and unique about you. And that has, I don't even know how many hundreds of people have experienced that in the time we've been leading that group. Probably about 900 or 1,000 people have done that. And so that's been a really great entry point for people, and for people to discover how they're wired and how that equips them then to serve and to be in ministry themselves. And then the other 2 on-ramps that we've typically identified don't really involve groups, but they involve experiences. So one is prayer. Our house of prayer remains extremely vital and more essential than ever, undergirding everything with prayer. And they meet once a week currently via a conference call on Mondays at 7, and also pray over every event, every message, everything that God is doing here. And so sometimes people might be part of House of Prayer for quite some time before they ever attend a worship experience on a Sunday. And then the last one is team, which just means serving. Sometimes people volunteer, maybe through the homeless ministry through House of Prayer, or maybe serving in children's ministry. And then that's how they really make relationships and get connected. But I saw Kimberly step in a little bit. It's not an on-ramp, but it really is a huge connecting point, and that is a small group experience called Multi-Ethnic Conversations. Pastor Chip mentioned Onia Okawobi, one of the co-authors earlier, but it's a safe vehicle for having difficult conversations about race and ethnicity, and really has been essential for and eye-opening and life-changing for so many people as they're able to talk very frankly about things that people don't talk about. So that's also a really important aspect. But we know that if people don't get connected somehow, it's very hard to stay in a church. And so we really work to do that. And Kurt has done a lot online as well.
All right, before we sign off, every pastor has to share a favorite food that maybe somebody out there wouldn't believe that is a favorite food of yours, and a food that you absolutely just can't eat. So this is something we got to go around the horn. I cannot eat. So people learn more about their pastors, man, this pastoral team. What's a food that you just love, or style or something, and something that you just man, I can't eat that. So I'll kick off. I'm nuts about hibachi. I love anything on a hibachi grill. I'm crazy about it. I'm like scared, like when can I go back to hibachi? Because it's so interactive. And now I'm like, oh Lord, don't take away my hibachi. But maybe in 2022, I don't know. I'll get back to hibachi at some point. Love hibachi. I love seafood. I'm a crazy fisherman. I cannot eat tuna salad. I'm allergic to it, something. I get sick to my stomach. Playing Division I college basketball, my teammates found out about that. So I had toothpaste filled with tuna salad. I had my pillowcases filled with tuna salad. But tuna salad is my kryptonite. My wife loves it. I make her eat it in the other room. So I'm going to go this way.
Well,
Kurt, you mean?
Yeah, Kurt. Go to Kurt, then Scott on my screen. Kurt, Scott, Steve, and one with you, Terry.
there's a small detail, Chip, is I can't see your screen, but yeah. So my grandparents all lived in Florida, so we would always go down there every year for spring break, Christmas, a lot of that stuff. And so seafood as a whole is probably one of my favorites. Stone crabs and probably peel and eat shrimp are my go-tos. In terms of things I can't eat, reheated broccoli is probably one of mine, like leftover broccoli. It's got the worst smell ever. Otherwise, I eat pretty much anything. And my wife is a really good cook and makes a lot of different cuisines for us. But we like a lot of Indian food and stuff like that as well. So
No leftover broccoli. Good to know, Kurt. Good to know. Scott?
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, so food I love. I like a lot of different kinds of food. Since coming to Cleveland, Bangkok Thai cuisine over on Mayfield Road, I love that place. Now, I gotta put a disclaimer out there. I like the American version of their dishes. They've got a star rating for hotness, and I like hot foods. So out of 4 stars, the first time I went there, I was with Nate Berkey and some other folks, and I ordered the 3-star, and it burned my face off. So now I just get the 1-star, so I can pretend it's a little bit hot. But
I got memories of ghost peppers in Gatlinburg.
Yes. Yeah, and it's there's two problems with eating really, really hot food. Um, food that I hate lima beans. I I just despise lima beans in any form. I don't want them in vegetable soup. I don't want them alone as a side dish. I don't want them prepared by anyone that thinks that you haven't had my lima beans yet. I don't care what they are. I don't eat lima beans. I made the mistake of saying that in a sermon once years ago, and the church I was in, like every week, someone brought me a can of lima beans and just thought it was really,
That's
really
why I asked the question. Look for
Yeah. so so that's it. Thai food, yes. Lima beans, no.
Pastor Steve.
I love lasagna.
Hmm.
I make a really good lasagna. Matter of fact, I just made one yesterday. I love lasagna. I also like, I made some for Scott. I like bacon wrapped jalapenos. It is to die for. Good stuff.
Scott will eat
I
anything
can
with bacon.
second that. Yes, I've had his bacon wrapped jalapenos to die for.
Yes. What I cannot stand, and I will think you're my enemy if you ever bring me hummus. I hate hummus. It's horrible. People say it's just chickpea. Right. It's horrible. I've tried it, different types of hummus, and my son would say, "Well, you need to try the roasted pepper hummus. It tastes like nasty stuff." So hummus, no. Lasagna, all day.
My
We
two
used
of
to always
my
have hummus at our staff meetings. I guess that's why it went away.
two of my boys ate hummus for lunch today, as did I. So,
I knew there was something about you. I knew.
Yeah.
but so Steve, just to cut you off, Chip. But so my kids love to watch Garfield the cartoon, and Garfield the cat loves his lasagna. So I'm wondering, is that the only reason you're actually working at Garfield Memorial Church?
I don't know at all, but I don't really know the answer to that. I don't know, but I never connected those two things together. But as a matter of fact, if I go out, I don't even buy lasagna out any longer because they don't make it better than me. Get an attitude. I do. I'm like, really? You're gonna go cheap on me, huh? Really? So I'm a lasagna dude.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. All right, Terry. See, this is revealing. This is the part of Pizza with the Pastors that everyone will remember.
Yeah, I really want to see what Terry likes.
Well, and you're going to find my answer a wee bit ironic. But first, I have to say, this is another embodiment of our diversity.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I do like a wide range of foods. I really love to eat. But I would say, I have to say pizza. And it's partly particularly if I, had a long day and I'm really tired, my husband knows, just order a pizza. And we have a couple of good places here. We're at Lakewood, so Angelo's pretty well known, pretty good. But
No names, please. No names, please.
Oh, sorry.
We can't start endorsing.
So it was okay for Scott to talk.
I was just saying, Scott shouted out a whole
Yeah,
lot.
we can monetize this. I'll
All right.
get that
Okay,
set up.
so-
later.
Yes.
But what I cannot eat are inner organs. I will not eat inner organs of any kind. And I cannot eat game. So like, I won't eat venison. I won't eat boar, even though I know there is no difference. I eat beef, I eat chicken, I eat pork. But if I know it's game, I won't eat pheasant. I just won't.
Alligator?
No.
I've never had pheasant.
I love pheasant.
Well,
On or off the glass? I haven't had either one.
Oh my gosh. I used to hunt pheasant, and I gotta tell you, up in the French know how to cook pheasant. I had the best pheasant I've ever had in my life. And
What does it taste like?
it like really sweeter turkey to me.
Chicken.
okay.
I hate when they say that. Tastes like chicken. Then
Hey,
just like
fun
chicken.
fact. Apparently, geese eggs are really good to eat. And when a mother goose is not sitting on the nest yet, if you take an egg out, it will lay another one because it wants to have like a certain amount. So you can take an egg, it will lay another one. You can take another egg, it'll lay even more.
That's cruel.
This is the things you come to Pizza with the Pastors
so-
for, man.
So this is
Not
the
saying I've done
reward.
it. Not saying I've done it, but
That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, Kurt.
there's a video of 8 chicks on the living ones on goslings, I guess, on my Facebook page right now. So I clearly have not eaten the eggs.
So we're gonna close out. We're gonna close out. We're gonna close out. But I want you all to know. See, when you don't give us any questions, this is where Pizza with the Pastors goes. So tune in next Monday at 5:00, and we'll find out
Not
more.
next Monday,
Huh?
not next Monday,
Oh, sorry, you're right. First Monday of the month.
right?
So the first Monday of June.
Not the first Monday of the week.
Yeah, first. Kurt's goose stealing. Like now everybody thinks we all rob goose eggs. We all messed up.
And now for my final conclusion.
Oh Lord, this is your pastoral team at its finest. Pastor Lori's not here, so she would have made us more holy. But this is who we are. We love y'all. We're glad you're here.